What's going on, everybody? All right, so let's get into this video. So this video is about breaking down how to shoot through that soft cover. So you guys obviously saw the question I had up about the soft cover. So I want to go ahead and break this video down for you, kind of give you a quick tip on how to shoot through soft cover. And actually, this will help you a lot in everyday stages, not just when you have to shoot through something where it's hard to identify where it is. Because we use this skill set a lot in our sport. You always are aiming through a barrel or a wall of some sort as you come around a corner or to a position, and you need to start aiming so you can start shooting the target as you enter. All right, so let's break it down. So right now I have a picture on the screen here where you can't really see the targets. You could just see the hardcover. I'll give you guys a quick picture here, or a quick scene here as I roll through the video here. You'll see the 3 targets that are sitting here behind the hardcover. Or excuse me, the soft cover. The 3 targets on the soft cover here are pretty close to each other, which helps a lot. That really helps because now it's easier to kind of know where the transition is. And kind of once you identify one target, you should be able to find the other 2 targets that are next to it pretty easily. So let's break into how I actually walk this stage. The first thing I did was identify where the targets were. That's the first thing you have to do. Not where you aim, but where they are. And that's really simple. All you basically have to do is walk up to this stage, walk up to this wall, look through it, and kind of figure out where you see them. And you can kind of see here there's a target on the left, target in the middle, and the target on the right. As you come to the right-hand side here, you will see the level or the height of the targets are all 3 targets are exactly the same. So once you find one A zone, you'll be able to find the other A zones pretty simply by just transitioning right or transitioning left, whatever you chose to do. For me personally, I was going to go right to left because when I go right to left here, I will be able to actually move and shoot on these while I'm shooting this stage. If I was to stand and shoot, I could go left to right. It'd probably be a little bit easier to find the targets, but I'm going to show you guys a really easy, quick tip on how to be accurate and find these targets and shoot it with confidence and not just shoot through the netting or through the hardcover without having a clue. So the first thing I did was look at the targets. Now, what did I look at the targets for? Obviously, I can see there's 3 wide open targets, no big deal. But what I wanted to look at was, where is everybody hitting this target? Where is everybody shooting the target? Is it low? Is it high? Is it right? Is it left? Is it dead center in the middle? So the interesting thing about this specific set of targets was, and I came in on day number 3, so basically the day after, it was the final day when we shot, which was Sunday. The best part about these 3 targets was the grouping was very consistent. It's not always like that on these stages. So a lot of the holes were at the very bottom of the A zone, and they were in a very, very tight group. I would say probably 3 to 4 inches. That might not seem like a tight group to some people, but it's pretty tight considering that you can't see it very well. It's very difficult to see the hits or see the target A zone. So you're kind of just picking the middle and shooting. There was a lot of A's on these targets. So it just showed me that, you know, where everybody was aiming was pretty close. There's a couple of different things you need to watch for when you walk a stage like this, though. Number 1, how tall are you? Number 2, how far away were they shooting when they shot it? If you haven't seen a bunch of people shoot the stage, you don't really know, because I'm 6'2", and another guy who's 5'7" is going to have a different point of aim at where they're putting their target or where they're putting their sights on that target. Number 3, where am I going to start shooting this so that I know where I need to start aiming at it and where I need to find a line of reference to start aiming basically getting a height, because I didn't really need a left to right position. I could see the targets pretty well. This picture this is pretty much what it looks like, but you could really see the targets as you were shooting. You could really see the reference of where the outline of the target was. So, and again, I'll make this so you can see it better on the video, but there's a target on the right, target in the middle, target on the left, and you can kind of see it right here on the video. You'll see there's a lot of holes in the same exact spots, and they're all at the same level, okay? They're all at the same level. So basically, right where this second no-shoot is, you can see that straight across is where everybody's kind of lining up that A zone. The problem was they were all pretty low. So my big thing was I didn't want to give myself just a I hope I get it shot. I wanted to be able to shoot this aggressively, shoot it in the center of the A like I normally do, and get myself A's. But here's the key, guys, and this is something that a few people answered my question about how would you aim for this. and people were telling me they'd find the sticks, or they would reference the sticks at the floor so they could find the target. They never really mentioned where they would aim on the wall. A couple guys did, which was a good answer, and I'll get to that in a minute. But the problem with all of those things is if you are actually staring at one of these no-shoots or at one of these barrels or at the sticks below, you are now slowing down just to identify your targets. That's the first thing. Number two, you're not actually moving and shooting, because as you got closer to this targets or closer to this position, the sticks disappeared. So basically, if you got halfway to them, they disappeared. If you were standing at the fault line where most everyone shot them at, you could not see the sticks at all. They disappeared no matter how tall or how short you were. So the stick reference was automatically just taken out of the scenario because it wasn't there anymore. So now you can't look down at the sticks and then look up and shoot, look down at another set of sticks. So you had to kind of have a basic idea of where you were going to shoot these targets from while you were farther away. That's the first thing. And number two, if I ran all the way to the front, it was going to force me to stop. So that was another thing that a lot of people weren't willing to do. They did not shoot these on the move. So that showed me that the confidence wasn't there. That's why I wanted to grab this video, because there's a lot in this, just this little video here, or these little small, this one wall affected a lot of people's stage planning on this stage. I saw a lot of people stop and shoot. I think it was 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 shots in one spot because of this specific wall. This one wall created a stop position of 18 shots. It was crazy. So again, I stage plan everything on the move if possible, if it's going to be beneficial, and 99% of the time it is. So how do I aim at this without the sticks? How do I aim at this without actually being able to see the targets clearly? Very simple. I am going to find a spot on the wall that I can aim at right away. And what I want more than anything is height. I don't care about left to right at first. I only care about my height, because obviously I can see an outline of the target, right? So I know where the center of the target is. I cannot figure out the height though. That's the main issue with a target array like this. You can't, it's really, really difficult to find the height. So how do you find the height? There's always some type of visual marker when we're shooting. It might not be super obvious. That's something that most people miss. But every time you enter a wall, enter a position, and there's a wall in front of you, a barrel in front of you, a no-shoot in front of you, there's some way that that's there, and there's going to be a marker on it, whether it's a bullet hole. As you can tell on this barrel here with the lines, these lines here can become a marker for you to visually see. The black spray paint on the front of this barrel, that's a visual to where you can start aiming at the black spray paint. That gives you a visual of your height. Again, what you're worrying about when you first start, or how I first start, is I always look for my heights, because I can find the center of the target and just hope to God I'm in the middle, or I can start eliminating the mistakes by starting to outthink the stage designer, right? By thinking about making things simple, that's where you really start changing your stage plans and where you start winning stages, because you're just simplifying everything. You're not making it harder. You're not trying to make it to where you're going to have to shoot different than you usually do. Try to make it the same that you normally shoot, but how do I make it more accurate is what I'm working on in this specific setup. So here's what I'm looking for right now is right away I looked at the top of the no-shoot. I said, all right, cool, I'll just aim there at first. And then I realized that everybody was shooting low A's. So I didn't want to shoot low A's. I wanted to shoot dead center A's. So I knew I had to aim a little bit higher. Well, it's easy for me when I'm this close to see these holes that everybody is shooting through. Well, I don't want to follow everybody else. Not everybody else hits alphas. So if my goal was to just come up and do what everybody else did, then fine, that would work out great. But I didn't want to do what everybody else did. I wanted all alphas on this stage. So how did I aim? First thing I did is I figured out where I was going to start shooting these targets from. That's the first thing I did. And where I shot these targets from was much farther away than everyone else. So now I had to figure out a different way to shoot these than everybody else. I couldn't follow everyone else's stage plan. That was the first thing. Number two, I needed to know how tall I was going to be while I was shooting those targets from a distance, because I was going to be farther back than most people, because I was going to be aggressive and shoot them on the move. Number three is I needed to set up dead center on each single target take my time, well, not take my time, but shoot at the pace that my sights told me to, but then pick a height. So how I did it is I picked the height of this target here because I shot basically between the top of the no shoot, the top one, and between the top of the bottom no shoot. So where that double stack is, I shot right above where everybody else shot. I shot just above where everybody else shot. Now, I will tell you, there are some random holes up here on the top above where basically the circle is everybody was shooting. So some of the other people that were shooting this saw that and decided to shoot higher as well. So for me, I ended up walking away from this stage with all alphas on those targets on the move from 15 yards, I think, maybe 14 yards, something like that is how far away I was, that I was able to shoot alphas on that specific target. So what you're looking for, guys, and it's real simple. You're looking for a reference point of where to shoot these targets. But the keys are, how tall are you? How high are you going to be when you're shooting? It's not just how tall you are, but how high are you going to be while you're shooting it? Number two, figuring out how high you are going to aim. Figure out an aiming point. Number three, the aiming point, and basically 2 and 3 kind of come together. The aiming point and what your reference point is on the wall or barrels or targets on the left here, whatever it is that you need to use to reference, that's what you need to figure out, is exactly where you're going to aim and put those hits into the target. Last thing, and this is probably the biggest tip of them all. I did not discover this while I was shooting. I discovered this while I was walking stages. I spent the extra time during my stage walkthrough to really analyze where I was going to shoot these targets. That's the key. I don't want to figure it out when I'm on the stage. I want to figure it out while I'm walking the stage and putting those details in those stage plans so that when it was time to shoot it, it was actually one of the easiest stages we shot, but one of the most difficult target arrays to get alphas on. So again, I figured it out while I was walking stages, not right before I went up, not following someone else. I took the extra time and effort that I needed during my stage walkthrough to really make sure that I had the right plan so I would get perfect hits and simplify my stage plan. All right, guys, if you have any questions, hit me up in those comments, and I'll see you on the range.
Bye.